Hello, everybody. Well, I'm just erasing here because I was going to use this stone for something else and I decided not to because I got a different idea. So, this is a handmade stone. It's about 4.75 inches. It's using the molds from HappyDottingCompany on Etsy. So take a look on Etsy for them. There used to be a discount code for me, but I'm not sure if that's still in the works. But definitely, if you cannot find stones of your own, make them. It's definitely worth it. And get all your stuff from Happy Dotting Company on Etsy. So I've done a couple of coats of white paint on this stone, and now I'm using something called the Felix. And it's a little thing that you can do all sorts of different circles and measurements and stuff like that. Now I'm just doing it by hand because that's me. I'll fix it as we go along. I'm attempting to make a disco ball, to hand paint a disco ball. So basically, if you don't have a Felix tool, it's okay because I ended up not really using it anyway. And just wing it like I do. Put a bunch of lines across. Take a look at a bunch of pictures on Pinterest or Google of disco balls, also painted disco balls on canvas, just to kind of give yourself the idea of what we're doing today. I'm going to do the best I can. This isn't going to be perfect, and it's not going to look like a disco ball to some people. It's just going to look like a circle with a bunch of colorful squares on it. Some abstract art, maybe. Who knows? It's definitely not going to be perfect, and I think I'm probably going to just love it anyway. And I hope you do too. I've been, once again, sick. A lot of testing going on, a lot of time not at home. I'm sitting in doctor's offices and ultrasound appointments and all sorts of yucky stuff going on. And I don't want to talk about it too deeply. I just want to try and think positive. And Lord knows I've been through enough in the last 2 years with my separation from my husband and basically losing everything that I've worked so hard for over 13 years, kind of just halted, including my ability to create. If it's not stress that was getting in the way, it was everything else. Now it's my health, probably because of the stress. To be honest, I have no problem admitting that I have struggled to look after myself, going through all these stressful times. However, I am here today and I am back, and I've got 2 more tutorials that one has already been edited and it's ready to go up in 2 days. And hopefully the other one that I have started is going to be coming up too. I'm going to keep going. I don't have too many doctor's appointments over the next couple of weeks, so you have me all to yourself. Hopefully, keeping my fingers crossed. I definitely don't want to be away from you guys, and I don't want to be away from my paintings, and stress causes me to kind of clam up and get like an artist block, and I feel like I just don't know what to do anymore. So I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to have fun and see what we can create together. And if you look at disco ball pictures, there's a lot of like little random blocks of color. But depending on the room that your disco ball is in, it kind of reflects what you have going on in your room. So if you have a window with some blue sky shining in, you have some plants with some green. My walls are lavender. Well, not my walls, but the walls in the room where this disco ball was hanging have like a light lavender to them. So there's a little bit of purple in the room. There's some accent purple. So I'm going to do all different shades of lavender. I'm going to just add white to lavender in order to lighten it up in a couple of varieties or variations. Same with, there's going to be some white, pure white blocks, which is kind of like a shine coming off of them. There's going to be like just fragmented pieces of color from around the room. There's going to be a flower that is like a magenta color, a couple of flowers, like a potted plant with some flowers in it. So I'm going to add some magenta. And of course the green, that's from plants as well. There's a shelf, I'm just kind of making stuff up as we go along. Okay. If you've been here before, there is a method to the madness. And basically it's just wing it and make something beautiful. And we all are happy when we're done. This is my first disco ball, but I've always wanted to try and create one. So I'm probably going to make more in the future. I've got to make some more rocks because, you want to have like a pretty circular stone. And if you don't have a stone, you want to do this on a canvas, well, you just start with a circle, any size circle you want, and then you go from there. I think I want to paint one on a canvas next, so I might do that, and I might show it to you guys in the future. This takes a little bit of time, coloring in each block. I will be outlining the blocks with white and black. You'll see a variation of that as well afterwards. Just trying to give it some depth, like each little square, each little piece of mirror that's been put on the disco ball, if you know what I'm saying. Each one kind of has to be framed. So we'll do that after. Right now it's going to look like a fuzzy disco ball, kind of not in focus, and then we'll put some focus on it. How's that sound? I'm also going to show you a couple of things that I have at my desk. I don't have much because I have not been home. I've been out at appointments, but I will show you a couple of things, and I won't ruin the next tutorial by showing you that. But yeah, you can see I'm using a little blending brush. I have a blending brush tutorial. It's in the description of every video as well. You can just look it up on my video list. Just look up Rachel's Rocks blending brush or Rachel's Rocks fine lining brush, because I'm using one of those as well when I start to line all these little squares. Now, I haven't done my lines or my squares all perfect. They're not all the same size, and I don't care. Here, we don't care about that. We're not going to be all worried about that. But if you want to worry about every square being like a proportionate and perfect, that's all up to you. But I'm just trying to have fun with it. It's kind of like when my son's playing sports and he gets all upset. It's like, you know what? This is still something that you should have fun with. If it's not fun, don't play. If you're not having fun, don't play. So if we're not having fun, don't paint. Okay? That's my attitude today. Because this really is all about doing something you love to do. And you can do whatever colors you want. Like I said in many of my videos, purple is one of my favorite colors. So my room that my disco ball is hanging in just happens to be lavenderish. But if you have a room that's pink, you're going to want the majority of your disco ball, to have shades of pink, with a little bit of pops of color here and there and some white here and there to make it shine and sparkle, depending on where the light's hitting it. It's up to you, really. And if you have brown furniture, or if there's people in your room, you can have like skin tones and colors of shirts and jeans. You can have like furniture. Say you have a nice red couch, so you have like a couple of red blocks all together in one spot, where a disco ball might catch the reflection of that red couch in a room. It's totally up to you. If your walls are white or like an off gray, make sure you do like the majority of your outside, like on the outer edges and stuff, where there isn't the color blocks. Make sure you do that in shades of like the gray or white or off white. Just do shades of it, variations of it, like I've done on this one. I can't say that I'm perfectly satisfied with the way it looks. It does look a little wonky when it's done. But I actually really had a lot of fun with it, and it was fun trying to like figure out where colors should be, and you know, I do go over a couple of them because I wasn't happy with the color that it was left with afterwards. And by all means, go over it as many times as you want. If you need to do 2 coats of each color because you can still see your pencil through it, go for it. That's totally up to you as well. But this is what I'm left with once I've colored in all the blocks. And then this is the tedious part where I'm going to speed it up a bit because it's kind of boring. But you'll see I'm going to kind of do some white lines where I can really notice them. So in like the darker colors, I can notice like a white line a little bit better than if I were to do that on the gray and white or the light lavender. But you'll see I'm going to just kind of put black lining through it, and once in a while there will be a white line there. It's up to you what you do with it, how tedious you want to be, how perfect you want to make it. It's really hard to change the size of your blocks once you're this far. But you know, work with it, wait for paint layers to dry, and fix it as you go along. I'm really not worried about my blocks being perfect though. It just doesn't matter. I can't be bothered. I made sure that my blocks are smaller as it gets to the bottom, because it's as if it's like hanging up above, and that's just the way that I would see it if I was looking at a disco ball. But you do it the way you want to do it. Maybe if you turn it upside down, it looks more like a disco ball. Who knows? It's totally up to you. I am going to resin this, but I'm going to show it to you without being resined, as well as resined with 1 coat, but before I put it in my shop, which is actually going in today. So it might be in there if you were to check my Etsy shop out. But yeah, that's it's going in my shop with 2 coats of high quality resin on it. So it's nice and shiny, nice and smooth, but it still kind of looks like a disco ball. It also will be on a stand, because of course I'm not going to hang it, but you could probably find some way to hang it up on your wall if you wanted to get real creative with it. So this part's really boring, like all the lining and all that is super boring, but let me know if you can see at all, like even if you squint a little bit or like look through like some curtains, maybe it looks like a disco ball. I'd really like to know. We're just here to have fun, right? All right. So I'm going to resin this. I'm going to show you some stuff at my desk, and then I'll show you this shiny. So the little things I have at my desk right now are Hamsa stones. I absolutely love making these. For me personally, they mean a symbol of hope and protection, especially when there's the evil eye on there. But really, it's just a bunch of things that I really love all mixed together into one. And I love every single one of them that I make. So I've made 2. These are going into my Etsy shop in a couple of minutes. So they might be there if you check my shop out. Lots of color, lots of sparkle. And this one to me is growth and beauty and balance. And yeah, it's a whole bunch. So here is the dry acrylic disco ball without resin, holding it up. Then I've got it in a stand after it's been resined. Different lighting in the room, of course, it's not as warm. But this is what it looks like if you kind of squint or you stand back a little bit. You know, it really does resemble a disco ball. I actually really like it. I really do. I hope you guys can let me know in the comments what you think of it. What could I have done differently to make it look more like a disco ball? Let me know. I love to learn. I really am excited to make another one. And I hope you guys want to see that one too. I love you. I will see you very soon. Another tutorial's coming up either tomorrow or the next day. Join me, chat with me, and paint.